Okay, so I have a CPC 800 that I bought used from a guy near me, and it had been sitting in his garage for the past 10 years at least. So when I got it, it was covered in dust and the lenses were all dirty, the mirror was dirty. I got that all cleaned up. There was just one issue with it, and that was with the Azimuth motor. So these have two motors, I believe. This one controls the azimuth, or movement in the horizontal direction. And there's a motor in here that controls the altitude, or the up and down direction. The issue was that I could control the motor speed in altitude, but I could not control the motor speed in azimuth. This motor, all it wanted to do was run full blast. And after taking this thing apart several times, I think I found the fix. So these motors have what I believe is called an encoder on the end of them. And you can't really see it in the video, but that little clear disc at the end has a bunch of lines in it, and about right there on that chip, there's a laser. And I think what's happening is that laser is shining on that disc. And when those lines cross that laser, there's a sensor that's picking up how quickly this clear disc is spinning. So what I did was I took the cover off, and I'll mention how to do that in a second. But I took the cover off the whole base, which is that silver thing over there, and got in here, unmounted the motor, and I unplugged it. And I just took some electrical contact cleaner and I sprayed it all over the connector, both on the wire and on the motor. And I sprayed it all over this encoder. I waited maybe 5 minutes to let it dry up. And then I plugged everything back in, and it works now. It seems to respond to changes in slew speed. So if I get the remote here and I run it at full speed, you'll see this thing spin, or you'll definitely hear it spin. So that's at the highest speed. If I change motor speed to say 5, spinning a lot slower. If I change it to 1, extremely slow. You can see that laser shining under there. So yeah, the fix for this, I was afraid I was going to have to buy a new motor, which is kind of expensive. I think they're about $120, $130 from Celestron just for this motor. So I'm glad all I had to do was spray some electrical contact cleaner on this. Hopefully it stays working for a good long time. But anyway, back to taking this cover off. So there's a grub screw right here holding the clutch down. You have to take out that grub screw a little bit, not all the way, just a little bit, and you can take this clutch off. Once you have the clutch off, you can start taking screws out from this lid. On some versions of the CPC, I've read that there are just 5 screws, but on mine there were 6. And right here, where the Celestron logo usually goes, there's a black logo. There was a 6th screw hiding under that logo, so I had to pry that off with a knife so I could get to that screw. So you undo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws, and you can finagle this silver cover off of the base. Once you have that off, you can leave everything plugged in, but when you are messing with this motor and unplugging it, make sure that the power is off and the telescope is not plugged in. You don't want to cause some kind of a short. So before you start spraying this thing with contact cleaner, power off, unplugged. After you've powered off and you've unplugged everything, you can unmount this motor, which normally the motor is mounted in here like this. The way you get this motor off is you've got 2 screws right here that hold the motor to this piece. You just take those out with a Phillips head screwdriver. These set screws right here were very difficult to undo, but I did get them. That just takes an Allen key. So you have to undo both of these, take both of these screws out, and then the motor will slide out like that. So yeah, I hope this video was informative. I hope this helps someone out. Maybe if anyone has ever had the same issue. If your motor does not respond to changes in motor speed, maybe give this a try. Try cleaning this encoder with some electrical contact cleaner.